Did you know it's estimated about 35% of Canadians and Americans feel disconnected and unmotivated at work? Are you in this percentage? Picture this, you party it up on the weekend, hang out with your friends, go out to fancy restaurants and have a great time. Before you know it, it's 11 p.m. on a Sunday night. You remember you have work to get back to. Immediately you get a weird turn in your stomach and you go home.
I have a bad feeling about this.
You struggle to fall asleep, twisting and turning, but you eventually do. You wake up completely tired and unprepared for the day. What's worse is you'll now be miserable and drag yourself through work for the next 5 days before you can enjoy yourself again. That's 120 hours before the weekend. You feel this intense tiredness and exhaustion. Meanwhile, your boss is spamming you with tasks and messages. Your coworkers want your help with something or offload work to you. You're frustrated, but you commit to all the work anyway. This is how millions of people live their lives every single day. Why exactly are so many people feeling disconnected from their job? We'll explore some of the bigger reasons for this. If at any point you find this video useful, definitely consider liking and subscribing to support the channel. We'll start with the biggest, most obvious reason for demotivation. Feeling overloaded with insane volumes of work.
Concierge. No, I don't need Vaseline. Oh, is this you again? Now stop. Tell me exactly what stage you're in.
You've probably experienced this feeling before. You're almost done with the tasks and you receive multiple more. Or maybe you just have a super long list of tasks already. It's mentally challenging, draining as hell. Meeting deadlines means more stress. However, a huge workload isn't the only thing that can make someone feel overworked. There's another factor that leads to this feeling. It's pay. Sometimes you can feel like your work is just too much or too advanced for your salary. It's pretty common to feel like this if you're working hard all the time, but your pay is barely enough to scrape by in life, or isn't enough to satisfy the amount of time and hard work you put into getting a degree to land a job in this industry. How do you deal with this nonsense? First, you need to figure out why you feel this way. Is it the workload or the pay? If it's pay, you could attempt asking for a salary raise to suit the amount of work you're putting in. If it's workload, you can try asking for smaller workload and explaining that the current amount of work you're being assigned is too much.
The line has now been crossed.
And then it's leading you to feel unmotivated and work less efficiently. Now, these are the first options you should try, as they can be the easiest and quickest solutions. However, some managers aren't reasonable like that. They may just straight up refuse to make any changes to fix the issue. What then? Well, if that happens, you only really have two options. Settle for what you've currently got and push through, or search for a better place to work. Some managers can have pretty scummy business practices like that, and quite frankly, if it becomes an issue, they're just not worth working for anymore.
No, everything's fine. Hey, listen, I quit.
But are high workloads and pay the only reason that people can become demotivated from working? Not necessarily. Environment also plays a huge part. Sometimes, wherever you are working isn't suitable for productivity, whether you're working from home or in an office. If you've ever worked from home, whether it was due to the 2020 pandemic or it's just a default for your job, you'll know that distractions are everywhere. Most people associate home with comfort and freedom to do whatever they want. When you bring work into it, productivity sometimes goes out the window. The same can be said about in-office experiences, especially if you have noisy coworkers who like to gossip at every opportunity.
Hey, do you have any idea what time it is? Get in the house, fatty!
So how can you minimize distractions if you're working from home or in the office? There's two things you can try. First, make sure you aren't multitasking. If you're doing something like watching television videos, playing games, or scrolling social media while working, that's probably the root of your problem. You're letting something you enjoy distract you from getting work done, and you begin to subconsciously associate work with other activities. It's a habit you'll want to break. Maybe try using a different device for work that isn't the one that you're using for entertainment. Your brain is a dopamine fiend. If it has the opportunity to get a quick dopamine release, it will take that opportunity every single time. So it's best to remove those opportunities when possible. The second thing you try is a change of scenery to draw a clear line between work and home life. You could try going somewhere like a library or an internet cafe or just anywhere quiet with a working laptop, if this is possible with whatever you're doing. Obviously, you wouldn't do this when you have meetings, but can help eliminate possible distractions when working alone. In the office, this could mean booking a meeting room for the day and working from there. Sometimes even cubicles are much more productive than open room concepts. There are situations where none of these reasons are behind your demotivation. Sometimes it's just a case that you're falling out of love with your industry or work.
I hope I never see any jerks again.
Maybe you took this job thinking you'd enjoy doing it and quickly found out it's not for you. Or maybe you liked the job when you first started, but over time it simply started to become boring and now it's starting to feel like a chore you don't want to do anymore.
Fuck this place! Fuck it!
Like a chef who doesn't want to cook anymore, that you might see on a show like Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmare. If you find this is the case, what now? First should be to try and reignite your passion for the industry. Work backwards. Remind yourself what got you into the passion in the first place. For me, building software was an escape from reality. For a moment, I was no longer limited by lack of money and network. I could let my imagination go wild.
It's triple, quadruple. No, it's times 10!
But during work, I could only build within certain limits instructed by my managers. If that doesn't work, it might be time to consider looking for a new industry to move into. But before you decide, you gotta ask yourself if it's the industry or if it's just your job and your company specifically. You might still like the activity, but dislike the company you are working at. I have a digital guide on how to achieve work and life mastery. This is the most comprehensive guide to help you unlock motivation and passion and have a more fulfilling life. Link is in the description. Thank you so much for watching. Peace. I'll see you on the next one.